1.
Folks, I look at two ways. I look at that last interview with Congressman Doug Collins in two different directions. One being, I heard. Now, I don't want to. You know, we're not the left media. We're not sitting around with a panel that's discussing somebody's the level of their voice, the anxiety in their voice, the stress or whatever, because I know the congressman very well, so I'm not going to put anything into how he sounded. He's very busy going from one thing to the next, and if you know Congressman Doug Collins, I mean, it's just rapid fire when he's talking to you. That being said, I did pick up the concern in these seats that he says the president is upside down 25 points. I picked up the concern. Upside down 25 points. All right? I picked up the concern of losing the House. I picked up the Republicans are going to start campaigning. This is what I picked up. They're going to start campaigning on either or. You have a choice. This could be the head of finance. This could be the head of finance. This could be the head of this committee, or this could be the head of this committee. So I would, if I'm Republicans, I would get Maxine Waters and several others that meet the qualifications of a little bit loony. From the loony bin, I would go over to the loony bin and I would pull out 4 or 5 and I would say, this could be your next. And then I would bullet point so I wouldn't get too deep in the weeds, that this could be your next blank committee chairperson responsible for, point, that should scare the hell out of people. That's one thing. Number 2, let me say something about politics. This is my personal belief on politics. If you are explaining, you are losing. That's right. That's my belief. If you are explaining, you are losing. If you are campaigning on what you did and what you will do, okay? Now, wait a minute. Now, Congress will say, well, we did this, but what you will do, what will happen, and what you did very boldly and move on, then you're out front. But if you're explaining, now what I try to get to, I pay attention, no disrespect to anybody that does not all the time, but I pay attention. 3%. Sadly enough, only about 3% of people pay attention. So when the congressman, and I like to give the congressman the window to mention these things, so when I bring up Planned Parenthood, I'm in the 3% that pay attention to some of the things that have been done. 90% out there just will hear from conservatives, they didn't defund it. All right? Well, I agree with that in respect, but that's all they'll hear. So the Republicans have to go out and explain. All right? Do you know how hard it is to get the American people, sorry to say, to understand Congress? Congress is the House and the Senate combined. So Republican senators and representatives, so many people do not know how to differentiate between the two. House of Representatives and Republican House of Representatives and Senators. A lot of people don't know how to differentiate that. So when the congressman is correct and is saying, look, I am supporting the president's agenda on a daily basis, it's the Senate, it's the Senate. I will tell you how bad it has gotten up there. under the waters of the Potomac, it has gotten so bad, how bad is it, that people are calling people out by name in desperation. I think, my words, because there was a time, I don't think even Congressman Collins would say any more than our colleagues over in the Senate need to move some legislation forward, or our colleagues in the Senate need to get off their hands and get some things passed. But they have gingerly moved from our colleagues to naming names. I mean, you heard a sitting congressman say Paul Ryan, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski up in Alaska. I mean, he's naming names. John McCain, naming names. They are actually going to try to separate themselves from the Democrats in the House and the Republicans in the Senate by saying, we're getting the job done. Watch and see what happens here. I can see clear as could be the House of Representatives is going to run and say, we are getting the job done. So I think when you're explaining, you're losing. And my concern is the Republicans have a lot of explaining to do, not to Democrats that they would like to come out and vote for them, not to Democrats they'd like to come out and cross the line and vote for a Republican. They have a lot of explaining to do to, they got a lot of explaining to do to the Republicans, their voters themselves. So we'll see, because Republicans have to come out and vote, period. If Republicans sit home, the next Speaker of the House will be a Democrat if the Republicans sit home. You may not be happy with the omnibus bill. Let me say this, okay? I would not do it to the congressman, but I am going to tell you, people know that personally, Paul Ryan and his family situation, wanting to go home to be with his children, that's his business. You'll never hear me say a negative word. But as far as the American people, Paul Ryan passed two of the largest bloated budgets, and he claimed to be a deficit hawk. And he was the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. And the reason Mitt Romney, remember the reason Mitt Romney pulled Paul Ryan in as a vice presidential candidate was why? Because Paul Ryan was supposed to bring the conservative base in. Paul Ryan was supposed to legitimize Mitt Romney as a conservative. You remember the first omnibus bill that gave Obama a green light all the way through? Raised the debt ceiling? No government shutdowns? I mean, when Paul Ryan got into the office, it was almost like the captain coming on and telling you as you were flying, we have now reached an attitude and we should have a nice, comfortable flight. That's what Obama's last 2 years were. Paul Ryan, his captain, came in and said, Mr. President, we have now reached an altitude to where we're above the clouds, and you should have a comfortable flight in front of you for 2 years. That happened. What was Ryan's excuse? It was baked in the cake sitting on my desk. My opinion, two of the most bloated, deficit increasing bills in the history of this country that should have never been passed by Republicans. That's my opinion. My second thing is, I think it's time for a conservative to step up and ask to be Speaker of the House. And I'm telling you right now, Republicans have to come up with a very good plan immediately to get Republicans out to vote and have a platform and a reason to vote. Folks, a lot of districts are 25 under the polling on the President of the United States. My question is, how fast will these candidates in these districts run away from President Donald Trump? I'm your host, BKP. Amanda, you got anything this morning? It's 9:33 at this time. Amanda usually has a little something there. Do you have anything this morning you'd like to share?
I do have a little something. Can we just talk for a second about how creepy Mark Zuckerberg is becoming?
Yeah, we could talk for a minute. Yes. The question was, can we talk for a minute about how creepy Mark... Yes. The answer is yes. Let's go. Go ahead. How creepy is he? At least I know my lines. I give you lines all day and you just like sit there. Yeah. So how creepy is he, Amanda?
All right. So I came across an article on Babylon Bee, and they're going through the court scripts, of the everything in Washington right now with Mark Zuckerberg. And on Tuesday, his prepared statement is, quote, "This bipartisan committee has gathered here to ask me questions. Please remember that I need to ask you none," the social media chief said hauntingly as he addressed a large group of lawmakers. "I have no questions for any of you. I already know the most private details of your life. The good and the bad, the embarrassing, the devastating, everything. All of it. All of you." Doesn't he remind you of like that creepy little nerd in school that just, I'm starting to get that vibe off of him. I used to have a lot of respect for him, especially after I saw the movie, which I always had the thought that this guy, he is so smart with advertising. Like, he has went to a whole new level of advertising and getting money from advertising. That's not a shock. Of course he's selling data, of course he's getting money for advertising, but then he's taking it to a whole new level with these lawmakers, like, if you say anything, I can destroy you attitude.
Well, the team, the enforcement team will come in.
Right.
He will send their information to the enforcement team, which will make a decision.
I know I can kill you on Farmville. Like, this is all I'm thinking. Like, really, okay. Personally, I know the data.
Did you just say I can kill you on Farmville?
This is his attitude. Like, this is his attitude. Like, I can destroy your farm on Farmville. He is so, obviously.
No, you just shut my mother-in-law down. If she finds out that Farmville could be shut down and she can't invite me to play.
Oh man, no, he's gonna destroy these people's Farmvilles. So, but doesn't it, which I've never went over the top in giving information or data onto Facebook anyway, because, you have to remember, this is the internet. The internet has always came with a warning like that.
Your purchasing habits when you swipe a card,
right?
You go there and they say, "Can we get your zip code?"
Call me old-fashioned, but I still go into places with a check to pay my bills. This is exactly why.
Call me old-fashioned.
No, seriously, I do. I still do that. I have no shame in it. Oh, and another thing I want to point out, and this is funny. You're gonna get a kick out of this. He is sitting in a booster seat in his hearings. He's a little guy.
Hold on. Well, I don't think that's funny. I may have to have a booster seat.
No, you won't. No, I gotta do some research on him.
Well, they think he's at Denny's. And they pull him up to the table so he can get his Grand Slam breakfast.
Oh my God, we're bad. All right, that's all I have.
Is that a booster seat?
That's a booster seat.
Or is that some phone books stacked together?
No, he got the booster seat. I didn't even know you could get booster seats in the court. You know
what? I took away, and it's a big. I already talked about it earlier. It's really big. I took away that we have a social media. We have a Google, we have an internet, we have everything out there, and we have representatives that in general know nothing about it and how it works. Nothing.
Right.
And how it works.
You know, people say that though, but you have to know, like, you have to be in court enough to know how these things work in litigations, because they may sound stupid, but they know they want to sound stupid to get more information out of him. Well,
do me a favor, put the picture up. I think what's funny, and we'll wrap this up because I want to close. I want to go to commercial and close. But put the picture up, and it's really funny. Somebody sent me this of the lady in the kitchen. I don't know how to, I know that we're going to get in so much trouble over that. And I don't know if you can see that, but do you have the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Put that up there in the box there. And it's really, I think it's telling, okay? Because we find out Facebook, we're hearing people tell us that Facebook can hear us, knows what we're saying, and so on and so forth. These are the kind of reports we've heard. Our TV, I mean, if you look at articles, our TV, the smart TV is, the smart TV is recording us and knows what we're watching and everything like that, and sends the data back, knows how long. I mean, we have a program in there we could tell our watch time if it's 28 minutes, 32 minutes, or, an hour and 10 minutes. I mean, they have all that. We are data. Even the people that view this show may not want to be, and it's not our intention. It doesn't matter what show you're viewing. You are data. You know what I mean?
Right.
Are you able to get that? Or
yeah, I can get it. Hold on.
All right. Well, I didn't know. I want to put that picture and then the last one, the two I sent you, and then I want to close with this. Are we almost there, McFly?
No, we're not there.
All right, well then, I'll tell you what, let's just go ahead and go to commercial so I can get ready to close up, and we'll throw those at the end of the show because they're pretty funny, all right?
Yeah, you got it.
All right, thank you.